Here is that Trump called up the National Guard without permission from Gavin Newsom, governor of California and man with strong opinions about the food and business class.
California Governor Gavin Newsom is now calling his city's homeless encampments unacceptable, which is odd since he's the guy who, made them acceptable, turning sidewalks into red carpet events for drug addicts, thieves, and unemployed CNN anchors.
Picture this. Gavin Newsom struts onto the political stage like a shampoo commercial gone wrong, only to get roasted so hard by Gutfeld and Desi that even his hair gel couldn't hold it together. This wasn't a debate. It was a demolition derby. Except Newsom's car was already on fire. You think politicians get embarrassed? Wait until you see how these two turned his ego into confetti. Buckle up, this takedown is legendary.
Major concern here is that Trump called up the National Guard without permission from Gavin Newsom, governor of California and man with strong opinions about the food and business class. But Newsom...
On Monday, he urged cities to ban the camps from sidewalks, parks, and other public areas. So after years of denying the problem, he's now pretending to fix it, which is like putting on a condom as you're leaving a whorehouse.
Before we go further, smash that like button and subscribe because you do not want to miss this. Gavin Newsom's career has become less about leadership and more about starring in an ongoing reality show called California the Tragedy. The man walks around like the state is his personal runway with hair so shiny it could blind incoming planes. But somehow his policies leave California looking like the aftermath of a food fight at a preschool. He's not governing his auditioning for president of chaos, while his state becomes the cautionary tale nobody wants a one-way ticket to.
This wouldn't be the first time someone went to LA looking for a role and couldn't find one. Hey, you listen to me, 1,700 troops. You keep following.
The funniest part. Desi and Gutfeld don't even need to try that hard. The material writes itself. Newsom is basically a parody of a politician who thinks sharp suits distract from streets that look like Survivor filming locations. He treats California like a spoiled trust fund kid blowing through an inheritance. Except instead of burning through cash, he's torching infrastructure, housing, and basic sanity.
California Governor Gavin Newsom is now calling his city's homeless encampments unacceptable, which is odd since he's the guy who, made them acceptable, turning sidewalks into red carpet events for drug addicts, thieves, and unemployed CNN anchors. On Monday, he urged cities to ban the camps from sidewalks, parks, and other public areas. So after years of denying the problem, he's now pretending to fix it, which is like putting on a condom as you're leaving a whorehouse. Who hasn't?
Take homelessness. Under Newsom, California has perfected the art of spending billions to make the problem worse. It's not just a crisis, it's a growth industry. Give him taxpayer money, he waves his hands like a magician, and instead of a rabbit, another tent city the size of Rhode Island appears. Desi calls it leadership in reverse. The only sprint Newsom is winning. The Olympic dash away from accountability.
Is lobbing the unfathomable accusation that Trump might make decisions without fully thinking them through, but I'm sure Trump will be the bigger man here.
Earlier in the day, the president suggesting that it might be a good idea if his border czar, Tom Homan, arrested the California governor.
Gutfeld nails him for thinking throwing cash at issues is the same as solving them. Imagine firefighters handling flames the way Newsom handles Policy House on fire. Forget water, dump bags of money and hope the blaze appreciates the gesture. And if it spreads, blame climate change. Then roll up your sleeves for a photo op.
Gavin ponders why Dems lost.
We lost. We lost the popular vote and we lost the electoral vote. We got frustration.
Kennedy, I think the answer is yes. Was
it because of Israel? Yes. Interest rates? Yes. Too woke? Yes. It's like every bad policy that trickled up to the White House during the Biden administration started in California. That state is responsible for the worst politicians in modern history. And he is at the top of the list. And there are some ignoramuses on that list.
And speaking of climate change, no one has milked green virtue signaling like Newsom. He preaches saving the planet while approving policies that make Californians spend more on gas than rent. His electric car mandates sound futuristic until you remember California's grid collapses faster than his approval ratings when the temp hits 90 degrees. Comedy gold telling people to plug in cars when the state can't keep lights on. That's not a green revolution, it's a blackout festival with fewer DJs and more spoiled groceries. Meanwhile, Desi points out the hypocrisy. He dines at the French Laundry with lobbyists while lecturing Californians about plastic straws. That's not leadership. That's billionaire cosplay. And Greg tears into his obsession with appearances. Everything about him screams future presidential candidate except the tiny detail that he can't run a state without it looking like a Netflix dystopia set. California isn't a crown jewel anymore, it's Collapse the musical. And the supporting cast. Crumbling bridges, overpriced housing, and residents fleeing to Texas like it's the promised land.
Trump. Gavin Newsom's primary crime is obviously his podcast. And even if Newsom wasn't good at his job, being a bad governor doesn't mean you should get arrested. It means you should be mayor of New York.
And who can blame them? California is reverse Disneyland, ticket prices sky high, rides broken, and instead of Mickey you get Newsom explaining why your rent costs more than your organs on the black market. Desi points out more people have fled California under Newsom than ditched Blockbuster when Netflix showed up. That's not population growth, that's an exodus Moses would envy. But Newsom doesn't care. He struts onto national stages with the confidence of a man who solved world hunger when he can't even stop San Francisco from looking like the world's most expensive public bathroom. Greg cracks California's just a giant escape room now. Except the puzzle isn't finding clues, it's affording groceries without selling your car. And then there's crime. Under Newsom, California legalized shoplifting. Walk into Walgreens, grab $949 worth of stuff, stroll out. It's the unofficial state rewards program. Congratulations. You're a Californian. Here's your crime pass. Desi laughs. If you want to discourage theft, maybe don't advertise it as a tax-free shopping spree. But in Newsom's world, this is progress. Translation. Normalizing chaos.
And he's the guy who thinks he's going to run for president when, so much of the state is absolutely unlivable. And so every project that he's championed, he's now trying to demonize conveniently. And people are not that dumb. Like, people have been through it in his state. They are sick of him. They want him to leave. And maybe that's why so many people around him are like, you should totally run for president. So he gets out of the state.
Yes. Move away.
Greg takes it further. Every disaster gets repackaged as TED Talk material. Crime up. That's societal transformation. Homelessness exploding. That's empathy. Blackouts. Living with nature. Follow Newsom's logic and you'd think he could brand a meteor strike as cosmic opportunity. Then education. California schools under Newsom. A tragic comedy. Kids fail literacy tests while administrators argue if math is oppressive. Desi compares it to setting a house on fire, then debating the flame's color. Parents just wonder how kids graduate without reading a menu. But don't worry, Newsom's hair still looks perfect. Greg sharpens it. He markets himself as the anti-Trump savior, but is really California's most expensive disappointment. Taxes sky high, regulation suffocating, crime thriving, homelessness exploding, housing a luxury hobby. California under Newsom is like buying a Ferrari only to discover it has a Flintstones engine.
And we couldn't help but notice an unintended delight, his unique hand gestures. Watch this clip with Steve Bannon.
I appreciate the notion of agency, that we're not bystanders in the world. It's decisions, not conditions, that determine our fate and future. And that fundamental notion of agency, I think, is important more broadly. And I think that goes to some of the issues around, victimization. And I see a lot of that, respectively, on the right, increasingly, even with Trump often approaching things from that sort of mindset.
What do you mean? What do you mean for Trump?
I think there's sort of the grievance narrative that comes from Trump. This notion, there is sort of a victim grievance.
They did.
Let's take a closer look at this with a spot shadow or no spot shadow. What exactly is he trying to say here?
But of course Newsom has bigger dreams. Why just ruin California when you can ruin America? Desi quips it's like burning your house down, then applying to be a fire marshal. The audacity is almost impressive. Almost. Greg mocks his inevitable campaign. Imagine him pitching for president while Californians live stream rats the size of chihuahuas in their streets. That's not a slogan, it's a documentary. His sales pitch. I turned the richest state into a cautionary tale. Now let me do that nationwide. And the wild part? He actually thinks people buy it. Desi calls it ultimate gaslighting, convincing voters their misery is just progress. The tragic part? Some still nod dazzled by his perfect teeth while stepping over needles. Greg lands the punch. Politics isn't about results anymore, it's branding. Newsom is politics Instagram filter, shiny, curated, detached from reality.
Always, when a far-left Dem runs for national office, he acts like a Republican. This is where the left is really pro-trans. Suddenly, they grow balls. Why do I keep bringing up Gavin? Well, other than my respect for his work in American Psycho, he's starting to distance himself from his party's worst ideas. Newsom, a guy who hates fossil fuels but could still bring down the price of gas by wringing out his hair, once proclaimed that his state would be a sanctuary to all who...
Here's the kicker: Newsom thinks his failures are just setbacks on the way to greatness. No, Gavin. They're not setbacks. They're demolition derbies. California is no crown jewel, it's the world's most expensive group project where everyone gave up halfway. The only thing thriving? Property taxes, and they're thriving so much they're driving people out. Desi compares him to a coach whose team loses every game yet brags about unique playing style. That style? Tripping over the ball, fighting refs, setting the stadium on fire. Meanwhile, Greg skewers his obsession with tax hikes. He raids people's paychecks like a kid raiding a cookie jar. Except the jar's empty now, and California doesn't need a tax code, it needs financial therapy.
We're dealing with a myriad of issues. I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor down in Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties, and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just weeks.
Families are leaving in droves, modern pioneers chasing affordable rent instead of gold. Desi jokes U-Haul should name Newsom Salesman of the Century. Forget housing, he built U-Haul's profit margins. And San Francisco Newsom's pride and joy. His personal experiment gone wrong. The only booming business left? Cleaning supplies. Hand sanitizer and air fresheners are keeping the city afloat more than tech. And this is the guy who swears he has answers for America. If that's true, America's future looks like a San Francisco street corner at 2 a.m. Expensive, chaotic, and reeking of bad decisions.
Always, when a far-left Dem runs for national office, he acts like a Republican. This is where the left is really pro-trans. Suddenly, they grow balls. So Newsom is fed up with tent cities, the crime, the urban decay? No, he's not mad about that stuff. He's mad you noticed. It's like a criminal telling a jury he's sorry he robbed 25 banks when he's just sorry he got caught on the 26th. Because this isn't some spontaneous crisis. It's a man-made disaster like Chernobyl or Fox.
Greg mocks his futuristic energy plans. Banning gas cars in a state with rolling blackouts isn't bold, it's like demanding WI fee while smashing the router. And somehow he calls it progress. For who? Tesla salesman. For everyone else, it's praying your EV has enough juice to limp past Bakersfield. Then there's crime again. California's catch and release justice is basically fishing, except the fish rob you before you toss them back. Desi points out the compassion is only for criminals. Small business owners. Left to rot. It's like watching the Titanic's captain give motivational speeches while chunks of the ship still float in the iceberg.
Phony. I'm totally weird. Gavin's hands. It's time for Gavin's hands.
Welcome to a new segment called Gavin's Hands. He keeps his hands in motion and his hair full of lotion. True, Gavin's views may be idiotic, but his hands moves, well, they're hypnotic. California Governor Newsom's new podcast is out. It's available wherever fine hair care products are.
Desi adds Newsom's favorite move is rebranding disasters as progress. Homelessness. Humanitarian challenge. Crime. Societal adaptation. Residents fleeing. Population mobility. It's like a satire dictionary where misery progress. The only visible progress. Californians leaving faster than plates can be printed. Newsom is the do as I say, not as I die governor. And this hypocrisy bleeds into his White House dreams. He's basically the kid who failed gym class yet swore he'd join the NBA. Confidence. Impressive. Reality. Brutal.
About anything? I think there's about 100 other reasons too.
Well, you can't, it's not his words when he speaks.
Yeah.
You have to watch him closely. And some genius decided not to film him any lower than the shoulder.
Yes, did you? Yes.
So what did he do?
You couldn't see the hands.
No, but he sent Morse code.
Yes.
Go back and watch it. Look at the blinking. Blink, look. Meet me at the house. Like, he's blinking. He's sending, I'm getting there. Hey, just so you know, I'm not wearing pants.
Greg lands the final jab. Newsom isn't governing California. He's auditioning. The entire state is just his stage set, and Californians are footing the bill. Every empty promise, every bad policy, every self-congratulatory presser, it's not for them. It's for his brand. Desi twists the knife. If Newsom ran America like he runs California, we'd all be paying $10,000 a month to rent tents on sidewalks. DMV lines would last a century. Crime would be urban creativity. And the national anthem. Replaced by Gavin's campaign speeches. The scariest part isn't that it might happen. The scariest part is that Gavin Newsom thinks he's ready.